History often forgets the truth. We remember the witches, but we forget the fear. Between the 15th and 18th centuries, something swept through Europe and colonial America. Not a plague, not a war, but a fever of the mind, a hysteria of blame. Religious conflict had fractured nations. Crops failed, disease ran rampant, people turned to churches and kings for answers. But when answers didn't come, they turned on each other. Witchcraft became the ultimate scapegoat. Easy, invisible, deadly, it explained away famine, illness, disaster, even personal grudges. A cow died? A neighbor cursed it. A child fell ill? A midwife looked at him wrong. And just like that, a life could end. These weren't isolated incidents. Entire towns were consumed by panic. In Germany, 900 people were executed in a single town. In Salem, children's dreams carried the weight of evidence. Truth had no place. Only fear and fire mattered. Behind every torch was a question no one dared to ask. What if we're wrong? Forget what you've seen in fairy tales. Witches weren't green-skinned crones with pointed hats. They were people, mostly women, caught in a storm of fear and prejudice. Midwives, widows, herbalists. The elderly, the outspoken, the poor. Those who didn't fit neatly into society's mold. They were labeled other. And in times of chaos, the other becomes the enemy. A woman who healed with herbs? Suspicious. One who owned property? Dangerous. A girl who cried out in the night? Possessed. Accusations were absurd. Spectral evidence, birthmarks, owning a cat. You could be condemned for your dreams, or someone else's. Most had no defense, no lawyer, no time, only prayers whispered between interrogations. Some confessed under torture, others held their innocence to the grave. Bridget Bishop, Agnes Sampson, Alcee Young. Names erased from time, voices drowned in fire. They were not monsters. They were victims of a system that feared what it could not control. The flames eventually died out, but their smoke still lingers. Witch trials didn't just destroy lives. They reshaped society. They taught us the cost of fear and the importance of justice. In their wake, laws began to change. Burden of proof became sacred. Hearsay, no longer enough. But even today, we walk a tightrope between fear and fairness. The trials serve as a dark mirror. They show us how easily logic can be drowned by emotion, how fast suspicion can turn to punishment. They remind us that mobs don't need pitchforks, just a reason to hate. The legacy of the witch hunts lives on in every moment society chooses safety over truth. In every courtroom where emotion outweighs fact, in every institution that targets the different, the question isn't, how could they believe such nonsense? The question is, would we? The hunt never ended, it just changed form. Today, the trials happen online, in hashtags, in headlines, in algorithms that feed outrage over understanding. We still seek scapegoats, we still fear the different. A public figure slips up, burn them. A person says the wrong thing, exile them. No time for context, no interest in truth, only judgment. The internet is a digital town square, but instead of pitchforks, we use retweets. Mob mentality hasn't vanished, it's just gone viral. Social media can be a tool, or a torch, and it's all too easy to forget there's a person behind the screen. Echoes of the witch trials are everywhere. In cancel culture, in xenophobia, in misinformation campaigns. The ghosts of the past are whispering, and too often, we're still listening. The past cannot be undone, but it can be understood. We owe it to those who burned, to speak the truth. To question before we judge, to listen before we accuse. Let the trials remind us that silence is dangerous, that truth is fragile, and justice must never be driven by fear. You, watching this, you are the descendant of survivors, not just of witches, but of societies that almost lost themselves to darkness. Be the light, be the one who asks, is this fair? Is this true? Is this just? Because history doesn't repeat itself, but it rhymes. And it's up to us to change the tune.